Vladimir Putin has teased the UAE as a possible neutral venue for his potential upcoming meeting with Donald Trump as the deadline for a ceasefire on the war with Ukraine nears. Russia's president also touted a discussion with Ukraine's leader Volodymyr Zelensky, but insists there would need to be conditions met.
It felt like Vladimir Putin was giving us a clue. His meeting with one leader in the Kremlin today, signalling where he might meet another. The United Arab Emirates appears to be the most likely venue for the summit with Donald Trump after the Russian president held talks with the Gulf states' leader.
We have many friends who are ready to help us organise such meetings. One of them is the president of the United Arab Emirates, so I think we'll decide on something. This would be one of the very suitable places.
Their last summit was in 2018, and the next could be in a matter of days. Donald Trump is desperate for a deal on Ukraine, but it sounds like Moscow sees benefits too.
This, of course, can become an important historic event, an event when Russia's position will be clearly conveyed to President Trump, and we hope that this dialogue will continue even more actively, including in the economic area.
For the White House, though, the priority is peace. It had given Russia until Friday to end the war or face sanctions. News of the summit came after US envoy Steve Witkoff's visit to Moscow, but it doesn't necessarily mean there'll be a ceasefire. On the one hand, a summit could mean that a significant point of agreement has been reached, and all that's needed now are for the leaders to sign off on it. On the other hand, it could just be for show, a tactic by Russia to temper US anger. They could just be agreeing to something that gives the illusion of progress, which in reality delivers anything but.
Well, I know that
this expert in US-Russia relations sees grounds for optimism.
Trump is not stupid, he has his own deadlines. If he has a summit for nothing, that would put him in a rather embarrassing position back at home and also with his allies, because he has invested a lot.
But Russia has left the American president disappointed before, and there's still no sign it's willing to compromise yet. Ivor Bennett, Sky News, Moscow.
And for an American reaction to the developments out of Russia today, Sky's David Blevins has more now from DC.
President Trump says there's a good prospect of a meeting soon, and Vladimir Putin says the United Arab Emirates would be an appropriate venue, but it is difficult to gauge how serious the chances are of a face-to-face in the coming days without knowing what great progress means. That's how Donald Trump defined a meeting that took place yesterday between his special envoy Steve Witkoff and the Russian president. Does it mean that Russia is more inclined towards a ceasefire, as President Zelensky has claimed? Does it mean that President Putin is prepared to sit down with President Zelensky? That would be quite remarkable, and a White House official says a meeting between Trump and Putin is dependent upon that. Or is President Trump prepared to concede a little, to give a little ground? His Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has said they now have a better idea of what Russia's ask would be in return for a ceasefire. But given Russia's advance into Ukraine, it's difficult to see why Putin would dilute his red lines right now. Something, though, triggered the handbrake turn yesterday, where we went in a very short space of time from Donald Trump accusing Russia of posing a threat to America's national security to suggesting he would meet with Vladimir Putin soon. Things may become clearer in the next 24 hours. Yesterday, America imposed very tough sanctions on India for purchasing Russian oil. The deadline for imposing further sanctions on Russia is tomorrow. So let's just see if there has been enough progress for Donald Trump to press pause on those.